Hello everyone. This morning we should be at a ploughing match, but unfortunately it's about -10 outside, so no ploughing today. But I've still got work to do on this tractor, so we're going to crack on with that and see what we can find. So the first thing we're going to do is take the bonnet off and then see if we can get the radiator off. And then if we get excited enough, we might get the cylinder head off. But the moment I take that off, then it's quite a long journey before the tractor's mobile again. So we'll see how we progress with the radiator first. So I think I can get away with just leaving the bonnet tipped up and off its support brackets. We'll see. That'll be one job less if I can. Let's see if we can get the water out. Well, that's interesting because that's obviously where the leak is, and it's cracked the bottom of the radiator. I think what we'll do, we'll take the bottom hose off. So as far as I know, this radiator is original to the tractor, so it's not surprising it's getting tired. For some reason, the newer radiators we get from India don't have this bracket on them. You can get a radiator with the bracket, but it costs about twice as much. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to come up with a solution to that. I've got a feeling that the top hose will hold it without too much trouble, but if it doesn't, we'll have something across here. Right, I've got the nuts off the bottom of the radiator, so I think it will come out now. Let's give it a lift and see. Oh, it's tight on this left side somehow. Oh, it's still tight on the hose, that's what it is. I need my trusty screwdriver. There we go, the most abused tool in the workshop. But it works like magic. Right, we'll take the cowling off because we'll need that on the new radiator. There always has to be one that drops in the hole, doesn't there? And this side looks like it's got some temporary bolts in it, so there is no doubt. I suppose it's not surprising that this has been apart before, and by the look of it on a number of occasions, because the bottom of it here is all covered in bits of braze. Just turn the radiator over and recover the missing nut while I think about it. There it goes. These are 7/16, not metric like we use today. So I can get 7/16 nuts, but I don't actually have any. So we'll try and keep what we've got. So there's a leak somewhere at the top because it's not kept water in the header tank for as long as I can remember, but it's developed a leak further down the core this last season. It's all getting pretty rotten really, and it's obviously been repaired a number of times here. So there we go, we'll put that to one side. So the next job is to get the cylinder head off. So we've disconnected the battery, we'll have that out of the way. The air cleaner hangs on a bracket that hangs on the back of the cylinder head. So we'll remove that. Well, that's interesting. It's been leaking oil down the front of the engine for a long while, and the rocker cover bolt is loose. Who should we blame for that, I wonder? Of course, remember to disconnect the dynamo before you try to lift the rocker cover off. So I think the dynamo is actually connected to the cylinder head as well, so just need to take the dynamo bracket off. At least I know the temperature sensor works. Right, that's the injector pipes out the way. I need to unclip these electric wires. and pull them out the way. And I think I can now just take the rockers off, and then the cylinder head bolts, and off she comes. You wouldn't think International could use so many different nuts and bolt sizes on the same thing. So before we take the push rods out, we'll just get a bit of cardboard and we'll make something so we can get them in order. There's a bit of a debate about whether you need to do this, but there's one thing for sure: if you do it, you won't be wrong. Make sure you mark your piece of cardboard with the front. And now we need to slacken off the cylinder head bolts. Right, we've slackened them all off with the breaker bar, and we'll just spin them out with the impact. Just make sure that we don't leave any spring washers behind, because we're going to have a job to find some replacements, because this tractor is built in imperial measurements, and just about everything we do these days is metric. They won't come out, but that doesn't matter. They'll come out when we take the manifold off. But I didn't want to take the manifold off at this moment in time, because it's a good place just to put a strap to lift the head off. So if I was feeling strong, I could probably lift this off without the crane. But when there's an easy way, why not use it? And you can see now why I didn't want to take the manifolds off. Well, we seem to be loose. I'm just being a little bit gentle, just in case I've forgotten to disconnect anything. You can tell I've done it before, can't you? That is forgotten to disconnect something. No, I think we're all good. We'll put the cylinder head down on these trestles where we can work on it. and then we'll investigate exactly what the problem is. So we'll have these valves out in a minute and see what they're like, but you can see here, look, that there's something going on around that one. That may be the one that's the problem. All will be revealed. Right, let's have this other manifold off. So it's time to remove the valves. And if you've got a valve lifter, well done. I've got numerous valve lifters, but I've never got the right one for the job, so I normally resort to using a drill, or in this case, a turret mill. A very simple procedure. So this is as simple as a washer welded to a rod, just held in a ER32 collet. Just push it down over the valve and pop the collets off. Make sure you've got a box to put them in, because if you lose a collet, it's a bit of a nuisance to say the least. Right, so let's take a look at what we've got. If we pop this exhaust valve out, the one that was, I think, causing the problem from what I can see, you'll notice on the inside, look, it's completely carboned up. Absolutely covered. And I think what had been happening was a little bit of carbon was breaking off and getting down on the valve, which is why sometimes it would make more of a problem than it would others. Yeah, it's not great, is it? Right, well, we'll get all the valves out and we'll get them all cleaned up, and then we'll have a go at lapping them in and see how we get on. I'm not quite sure. Let's have a look at some of the other exhaust valves. Yeah, that one's as bad luck. You do need to keep these in the same order. So I strongly recommend just drilling a piece of wood and standing them all up in it, so you know what you've got. And if you take them all out like this, don't knock them on the floor. So, yes, it's carboned up. Not surprising. It's got 6,000 hours on the clock, and I don't remember the last time the clock worked. So let's have a review of where we are and what we've found. There is no doubt that this exhaust port was the one that was making all the noise, and it was quite carboned up and it's quite rusty around here, look. So I've had a good long look at this, and my conclusion is that these exhaust valves are quite bad.
They're quite rough. You can see there, hopefully you can see on the camera just how bad that is. And they're all pretty similar. This one's the same, not quite as bad. This one's pretty rough as well, look. And the same down at the far end. Also, the valves are not great. They've been lapped in that many times over the years that they're actually concave on the face. I don't know whether you'll be able to see that, but there's definitely a problem. So I'm thinking that the best bet is going to be to take it and get the seats ground and the valves ground and start again. I could do it myself, but I haven't got the kit to do it. And I don't really see the point in having the kit to do it because I don't plan on doing many engines. So we'll go and find a man that can.
And that's it for this video. The cylinder head's gone off to be restored, and I've also taken the injectors in to have them reconditioned. We'll see you again soon with another part to the story of the B275, but hopefully before then we'll have some ploughing videos for you. That just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching.